Hey guys, and welcome back to Gardening with Najet. If you're new to this channel, this is where we talk about gardening for fun, nutrition, and sustainability. So go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, and let's get into it. Okay, hey you guys, I'm back inside because I think that if I would have stayed outside for any longer, I probably would have died, and I don't want to die for anybody on YouTube today. I'm sorry. I do want to give a little shout out to my sage plant that's right next to me because she has been growing beautifully, as you can see. This is another herb that you can start right now if you want. And you can honestly just keep it inside. I started a little herb garden, but the seeds have been taking so long to germinate, so I don't really know what's going on with that. The point of this video is to talk about 9 different plants that you can start planting right now in January. I tried filming yesterday, and honestly, I had to stop because I was moving so robotic because I snapped my neck. I have a bone disorder and I snapped my neck. If anybody has any suggestions on how to move your neck, leave it down in the comments. And before we get into this video, I suggest checking out my 2024 garden planting guide for zones and planting specifics such as planting times, row spacing, harvest time, and my video on how to calculate start dates and transplant dates. So the first vegetable that I want to go over are carrots. Carrots are going to be a root vegetable that love high phosphorus and high potassium. Carrots come in so many different varieties. Just to name a few, we have Chantenay, Danvers 126, Sweet Little Finger, Rainbow Mix, Scarlet Nantes, and Long Imperator 58. All of the planting specifics for each of these are on my 2024 gardening growing guide. Within the growing guide also has description on taste. That way you can always choose which one you feel like you'll like the best. As you can see, I've started these indoors. I suggest going ahead and taking them outside about 4 to 6 weeks after germination. That way they can fully develop with the cooler temperatures, the sun, and if you decide to take them out of the pot, be very careful and then put them back into a raised bed. Or if you have loose in-ground soil, you can always do it that way as well. Earlier in the fall, I did plant like 3 carrots for the very first time, and it was a little adventure. The little short video is on my channel, so you can go ahead and check that out. But I did plant Scarlet Nantes variety carrots, and it was very, very minimal work. And that's the thing that I love about carrots, because I truly believe that just let the rainwater hit it, water it sparingly, because this is what happens, is that when you are planting something in cooler weather, cold water is going to tend to stay in the soil. It's not going to evaporate into the air. So I want you to keep that in mind. Don't overwater your carrots or any of your root vegetables because the soil is going to stay moist. Broccoli and cauliflower, very similar but very different. Broccoli originated in Italy over 2,000 years ago and was derived from wild cabbage, just like most brassicas. And I'm sure you're wondering, well, cauliflower is like really similar, right? Where did that originate from? Cauliflower originated in the nearby area of Cyprus. So cauliflower does come in 4 different colors, which are going to be purple, orange, white, and green. And one more interesting fact about cauliflower is they form in a less condensed Fibonacci sequence. So when it comes to broccoli and cauliflower, since the weather is so cold outside right now, we do not want to direct sow them. We want to start these seedlings inside, so you can go ahead and start them now indoors and then transplant about 4 to 6 weeks later because they still love cool weather. We don't want to direct sow them right now because the seedlings could stunt outside. We don't want that. Germination will typically take about 7 to 14 days. After that, let it grow for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then you can go ahead and transplant outside around late February, early March, depending on where you live. Cabbage and bok choy. Bok choy actually originated from China and is considered Chinese cabbage. And now, like I said earlier, with a lot of these different brassicas, they all originate from cabbage. Cabbage is like the almighty savior here, okay? Everything originates from wild cabbage. Bok choy has been grown for over 6,000 years. Plant cabbage and bok choy from seed starting indoors in January. Transplant 4 to 6 weeks after germination outdoors. These vegetables prefer cool weather, so they're intended for your spring garden. All of these vegetables love cool weather, so just keep that in mind. I got really close right now. It's because I want to sip on I don't even know if I can show this. Am I allowed to show? Kale and Swiss chard. They come in so many different varieties, so many different colors. The thing is about Swiss chard is it does have a distinct taste. To me, it tastes almost like a little dirty. The Swiss chard that I'm growing is pink Swiss chard. Swiss chard does come in a variety of colors, but look at how gorgeous this is. For the first time, grew Swiss chard in my fall garden, and I'm still growing it. I'll show you guys. I don't particularly think I'm ever going to grow it again. I just don't eat it enough. I eat a lot of the kale, but that's the best thing about growing in your garden. You can choose to grow anything and see if you like it instead of going and buying it from the store. Yes, it's gonna take a little bit longer, whatever, but that's okay because it's fun, right? Like kale has more of like a peppery finish than Swiss chard, whereas like I said, Swiss chard almost tastes a little bit like dirt, and kale almost tastes a little bit like peppery. I don't know how to explain it. My favorite varieties of kale are going to be the Blue Dwarf Curled and then the Lacinato Kale. I did have kale last year in my spring and summer garden, and it was perfectly fine. I grow kale all year round, so it really is a versatile crop. So if you do decide to direct sow around February, March, the seeds are super small, so just make sure that you're planting it firmly in the ground if you do not decide to start indoors now in January. The same rules apply. Start now in January, transplant 4 to 6 weeks later. That way the seedlings don't stunt outside. Radishes are another type of root vegetable that come in a wide variety of different shapes, colors, and tastes. As you can see here, I mean, look how beautiful these are. This is so amazing, as well as the watermelon ones. I mean, look at that color. It's pink on the inside. I'm about to take these inside because when seedlings are very small like this, you don't particularly want to keep them outside in cool weather because the frost will kill these. So I will be taking these back inside, but as you can see, I've planted them in these longer pots. Here, let me move it like this. I've planted these in these longer pots just because radishes require loose soil as well. So like something like this. See how loose it is? And 4 out of the 5 that I planted in here germinated, so I will be planting more. The great thing about radishes is that you can succession plant them every single 2 weeks because they are extremely fast growers. Arugula. The thing about arugula is it is so easy to grow. I have a microgreen video up on my channel as well, and it basically talks about how to grow microgreens, but I love growing arugula in microgreen form because it's so easy. I usually just put it down on a terracotta plate, put it with soil, sprinkle the seeds on top, and then let it grow as microgreens. If you don't want to do that, I suggest you can start indoors in like a little pot or something. The great thing about arugula is it can either be grown in a pot or outdoors. So if you do live in an apartment, it's really super easy to grow. You don't have to bring it outside. Look at all of these different arugula patches. So back in spring of last year, I just decided to throw down a bunch of arugula seeds. Like, I mean, look how big they've gotten. Like all of these arugula patches, it's just gorgeous. The one thing I do want to mention about arugula, this arugula right here is a completely different variety, and as you can see, it's starting to bolt up in flower. When this happens, arugula leaves tend to get extremely bitter. We do not want this at all. If you do decide to plant arugula in the summer, I suggest planting them maybe under like your tomato plants because it gives the arugula a lot of shade. And the last plant that I want to go over that I think every farmer or gardener should start now in January, because I feel like I live in zone 8A. It is hot, okay? It is hot down here. But the thing is I feel like when we start pepper plants too late in the season, we don't get a good harvest. So I suggest every gardener or farmer to start their peppers now in January. This may be controversial, I don't know, because it is a summer crop, but let's get a head start on the pepper plants. This year I'll be growing sweet cherry peppers. I've always wanted these, but I just feel like they're so expensive at the store and you can't even find them. The only time you can find these are if they're like pickled. That's why I want them. So I'm going to grow them this year. I also grew these last year and I just felt like it was super late in the season. I have so many other peppers that I can plant, but I really want to try for these again. So make sure you follow and hit the like button if you want to see more of content like this. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not a whole lot to go over. Like I told you, there's a growing guide up on allthingsgirly.org that I really highly suggest that you look at. And that's pretty much it. I really appreciate you guys for following along and watching this video. And make sure you give a shout out to the sage plant. Love. Oh, and the little friend. This is its little lucky duck. So Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more duck content. And good luck, gardeners. I'll see you next time.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.